Right, but did you even read the article or watch the video in full, or just see the thumbnail and argue with the thumbnail? You know what I mean? I'm going to complain about fighters and storylines and whatnot. That's not what I'm talking about, though. I'm talking about upper management. Pretty much untouchable they are. This tweet regarding Dana White saying the number of events a year could change based on a TV deal would not be a bad thing, in my opinion. Maybe they'd be able to get rid of the extra fat around them. Because at this point, the UFC doesn't need to worry about hogging all talent possible. They've already done that, and they're already the premier brand, right? But where are the premier fighters? All the non-elite fighters or top-end fighters you can get rid of. Just trim a little fat there. Perfect. But also, Luke Thomas was saying, or one thing he mentioned is how TKO might approach balancing MMA and boxing. It's also going to include WWE as well as anything else they might own, which is going to be some kind of grappling down the road. That's down the pipeline. And PBR even, bull riding even. I know not everybody likes bull riding, good. But the point is TKO has this ecosystem of entertainment that they are trying to streamline and balance out. I think that's a very serious thing that people should be considering for this. But what I don't understand is why there's so much guessing about it. Why can't we just see when it's done? When the deal's done, and again, in my opinion, I think it's gonna be Netflix. I think it just makes it that much easier for TKO. And Netflix isn't gonna require 50, 60 shows a year. It could be something like once a month, which would make sense. 12 pay-per-views, and then ancillary programming can go wherever. I think Netflix will give, or at least will offer UFC a deal similar to that. And here's your flexibility so you can put Contender Series and Looking for a Fight and The Ultimate Fighter and Fight Nights and Apex and whatnot, anything else that you want, wherever else you want, and get paid from that. And the reason that would work is because the relationship TKO already has with Netflix, combined with the brand recognition and proof of concept that UFC has given over the past 30 years, especially in the last 12 years or so, it'll make for a high demand, even for non-pay-per-view content from the UFC. So they'll be able to bank big time off Amazon or whatever else if they continued with ESPN, which I don't think they will. But going back to this post here, I do think they're going to make a balance between all of their programming. When I say programming, I mean TKO, and it won't feel as oversaturated. In my opinion, that's not a bad thing. That's not a bad thing necessarily, especially if they trim some of the fighters that don't need to be there. If they did something like that, just 12 pay-per-views a month at $1 billion a year with Netflix, and then their ancillary stuff, no jet, and their ancillary programming can go make them more money elsewhere, you don't need to have a bloated roster. I know I saw online a lot of someone speaking on behalf of Netflix threw cold water on it because they were saying they wanted big events. That I don't understand how that was interpreted into, oh, Netflix doesn't want UFC. I don't believe that for 1 second, but I don't know if they want as much programming UFC is used to offering. They may even readjust and only do pay-per-views, or PLEs is what I would call them. That's what WWE calls their big events, because it wouldn't be a pay-per-view model. So 12 PLEs and some lead-up content or something like that, maybe a back library. But anyway, I'm not gonna sit here and try to predict it. I don't know what the they're gonna do. This is just my guess. So a lot of people got really upset at Yair, and people even made videos about Yair and who else was it? Gene Silva and somebody else wanting a title shot. I thought it was interesting. Ariel asked about Movsar, and Yair said he didn't even want to talk about him. That's tying right back to what I'm saying when I mean complaint culture is dead. If that phrase bothers you, it means you feel guilty of doing it. It shouldn't bother you. What I mean is they're cultivating a whole new era. I always say on X, welcome to the TKO era, and I know people don't like hearing that, but that's the truth. I'm trying to raise awareness about it. I'm here for the success or failure of TKO. I want to see this go down. It's epic what they're trying to pull off, and it's already epic what they have pulled off so far. I just happen to be a fan of all of the programming that they're purchasing and building and distributing. I like WWE, I like UFC, I like PBR. I'm gonna like boxing because I like boxing now. If they do grappling, I'm gonna be into grappling. I'm just lucky in that way. But as far as saying the sport is washed because fighters that are ranked but don't deserve title shots are asking for a title title shot, they're delusional and all this, but that's how the businesses are working now. And I don't agree with it all personally. That's not the point either. But there is a growing groan, and that's gonna pop very fast, because at the same time, they're building on the other side of the spectrum, and people are very accepting of what happens, right? There's people cheering on Yair. And the same thing goes on with WWE. People hate one thing they do, and the same thing that they did, people love. It's growing. Unfortunately or fortunately, I'm just here to let you know. Here is a post about WrestleMania, and it's really crazy to me how people are very, very upset about WrestleMania for one reason or another, or a combination of reasons. I mean, they're like still right now online talking about it, emotional, and I just don't feel the same way, as I don't need to be that upset. And I also think a lot of it is just signaling to get a signal boost to their X posts, because some shit is completely deranged. Like this post here shows the WrestleMania match that happened, and then it says the match we all wanted. I don't understand what the insane fantasy is about Alexa Bliss, but now she's rumored to be coming. Put this to the side for a sec. Now she's rumored to be coming back and be leading the Wyatts. You couldn't have a worse idea for that angle, that for them, for Alexa. You couldn't have a worse idea for Alexa or the Wyatts. The Wyatts angle needs to be very distant. And what I mean by that group, that faction of performers needs to be loosely connected to the Funhouse, because it's not gonna work. There's gonna be a pop when Alexa comes back with the Wyatts, and her being the leader is just terrible. Why is she? She's not Sister Abigail, right? She was working with Bray for like a year and a half, 2 years tops, and it was a sort of an interesting thing, but then coming out of the Jack in the Box and fireballs and light fixtures falling and shit, dude, that's not gonna work. And how many times can the Wyatts come out and the lights go out and the music plays and they're all dark and gloomy and they stalk into the ring and then they wrestle? That whole thing needs to be dropped. Bo should be working with Cena and Rock, in my opinion. I've been saying that since they were promoting that Uncle Howdy was coming. Alexa needs nothing to do with the Wyatts. She doesn't need them. It is a poor angle. There's no one for them to go against. They tried to do something cool with Scarlett, and Scarlett's awesome in my opinion, but she actually likes horror and haunted mansions, shit like that. They do that stuff on their channel with Shotzi. That's all cool, but they dropped that too. They took the Wyatts off. They haven't been on, bro, since like December. I think it's October. They haven't been on. October 24th or something like that. Anyway, to this post, what is the deal with the fantasy of Liv Morgan and Alexa Bliss wrestling? Liv Morgan is a far more talented in-ring performer than Alexa Bliss. It's like putting Tiffany Stratton and Jade Cargill in a match, which I know just happened, and I'll talk about that on the WWE report. Maybe I'm gonna have to do something about the just a video on SmackDown as a whole. I don't know, man. I might have to stop watching it. Anyway, Alexa Bliss is not an interesting character. Not right now. And leading the Wyatts isn't gonna make her interesting. And how is she going to... She's gonna haunt Liv Morgan until WrestleMania or Royal Rumble, Survivor Series, whatever. The fantasy match of Liv Morgan and Alexa Bliss is just baffling. It's one of the worst fantasy booking. It's just some dudes fucking over two small women that are blonde and wear, dynamic costumes. Nobody wants to see Liv Morgan and Alexa Bliss. WWE or any pro wrestling is only good when there's good wrestling and good story. You can't just cheese everybody together. It's annoying. It's boring. It has no effect, no impact. Unless, of course, you're a jizzhead who just can't stop, gooning at every fucking female wrestler that comes out, The whole Tony Hinchcliffe thing, I understand, if I'm not mistaken, or there's a rumor, allegedly, that there are efforts to remove whatever roast he did at WrestleMania 41 in Vegas. I didn't hear any of it. I've never seen like one of his stand-ups or anything, so I don't know anything about him. I know he offended people at a couple of appearances. Don't care. It's weird. This is only one of the posts I saw. This is Ryan Satin, and I do know who Ryan Satin is. TKO learned this weekend that WWE fans are not in the same Magasphere as the UFC. The sentence is incoherent, okay? TKO, WWE, UFC, and PBR. All of those owners and the uppers, they all are one collective with the same mindset. You get what I'm saying? I don't understand where anyone thought WWE was anything outside of that. Very strange. They always have been from day one. From WrestleMania 1. But also WWE fans and the UFC are incomparable, first off. And what he means to say is the UFC fans are much more outright quote-unquote Magasphere than WWE fans. And that may be true. Now that does make sense. I don't know how it happened because the owners are all in the same boat, bro. Thought you knew. Ariel said MMA is in a recession. And we know this is cyclical, but if we are all being honest, there are other factors at play here. Anyone that has been on this channel knows how I feel about Ariel. I do stay neutral. I don't glaze him all the time, and I don't just talk down about him all the time. But I use this post because there's a lot more. People are out there trying to figure this out ahead of time, and I wish they would slow down with it because MMA is not in a recession. That's a weird thing to say, in my opinion. And it's be like, oh, well, why do you think it's a weird thing to say? Because there hasn't been a deeper pool of talent across the board in the history of humankind. There are tons of elite fighters in the UFC. The problem is everybody got spoiled. The fans from 2016 to now, you're still a fan now and you were a fan in 2016, you got spoiled. Even if we can go back to 2019 to now, you are a spoiled fan. It doesn't make older or newer fans any better than you, but you were spoiled. You were spoiled with insane fights, man. Insane, crazy, star-powered, fueled, energetic, raucous fights, rivalries, you know? Jones and Cormier, Habib and Conor. I mean, those are the only two that need to be said, but it goes on, it goes deeper than that, obviously. Because that kind of thing is like lacking, man. Every single effort the UFC does, people shit on. There's a portion of the audience like, oh, this main event is shit. All right, I see it all the time. And I'm not talking about just like fight nights either. People are mad about 318 announcement. People are upset, crying, tweeting, writing letters, making videos. The main event for 317 hasn't been announced yet. We can also just wait until it's announced instead of losing years on your life trying to figure it out before it happens. That's what I'm saying. This is a spoiled culture, bro, because of that. But in the meantime, from 2023 on, new fans of all of this are coming forward. Fans are dropping out because they disagree with the way they're moving or political beliefs, whatever it is. They just get bored with it. Whatever it is, they tune out, they come in. That is cyclical. And I'm glad he does elaborate on other factors. He's basically saying the same shit I am. This is moving forward with or without all the complaining. It's not going to change. If you want Bushido rankings and only elite fights, you're gonna have to find some kind of promotion that has that and will only offer that because that's what you want. They're not doing that. TKO is full corporate and they are going full corporate. That's why Travis Scott was at WrestleMania, because he was contracted and he loves it. He wanted to go. That made everybody mad. People don't like the celebrity appearances. I don't agree with all of them. I don't agree with all of them at all. Nothing I can do. But the MMA business or MMA stars, that, yeah, a recession, quote unquote. Yeah, that we are in a lull with that. I'm a big fan of a lot of UFC fighters, and they grab my interest. Someone who's been around and not even doing big cards like Angela Hill, I'll tune in for. You know what I mean? Not everybody does that. Like, I don't care who Ilya ends up fighting. When they announce it, I will know if I like it or not. It doesn't matter, because I'm still gonna watch it. You know what I mean? That's what's happening. The TKO era, complaint culture being dead. This post here about the Netflix WWE behind the scenes show for how they make it happen and whatnot. And his response to it is that he understands kayfabe is dead, but we're going too far. The internet needs to stop with this we shit. We are not a part of TKO or WWE. It's not us. dude. It's them, okay? WWE is truly going out of their way to let you know this is all fake and you shouldn't care. Wrestling is great when people can believe it's real and get invested in characters. Business is truly dead. This is what I don't fucking understand. If you need to not see behind the scenes so you can keep telling yourself that it's not fake, you gotta stop watching it. What they're doing is they're trying to not pull the wool over anyone's eyes anymore. They're not trying to make you believe Undertaker isn't really a dead man walking. You know what I mean? Jake the Snake ain't really letting a real cobra chew off fucking Macho Man's arm. You get what I'm saying? You have to do that. You have to do that in this time. The business is not dead. What are you talking about? You as a fan are not liking where it's going, and that's fine. There's plenty of things. This channel, bro, is full of bitching of all kinds of things. It's fine you don't like it, but to try to say we're going too far and that the business is dead, you couldn't be further from the truth. I mean, look at the numbers they're doing across the board, absorbing the promotions. And I know people are gonna say that doesn't matter, money doesn't matter. Right, dude, to us it doesn't. You're 100, brother. To them, yeah, it matters. That's what they're looking at. They're not looking at you fucking saying the business is dead when they're making fucking $17 billion in 2 years. You know what I'm saying? There's no we. And this is, look, I don't know who this is. I don't mean any harm, but what did the boys just cook up? You don't know these fucking guys, bro. No, you're not the boys. Chelsea Green calls out Nikki Bella for a match. Who wants to see it? No one. Nobody. That's who wants to see it. Chelsea just lost the belt to Zelina Vega, which that in itself is something I'll have to speak on in a completely different video. No one wants to see Chelsea Green and Nikki Bella in a match, especially if neither one of them are holding a title. Plus, you got a mess on SmackDown right now with the women's division. A mess. You don't need to add any more women to SmackDown, the company WWE. I don't know if a writer is missing from there or what have you, but like if they're short-staffed, but the characters, nothing is making sense for the women side of things. It is so weird, and I'll go on that later, but Nikki Bella does not need to wrestle. And I think I'm tired of seeing this fucking, this older wrestler wants to wrestle so their kids can watch. Pull up the fucking vault and let them watch. Why do we gotta sit and watch you not wrestle well so your kid can see you do it on the global scale? No. I found this to be very interesting. Professional Bull Riders has a crypto coin, and there it is if you want to look into it, but it's from VeChain, and VeChain is also the sponsor for Power Slap, I do believe, and then Dana moved Power Slap over to YouTube. I will be watching this coin. I do know what's up with crypto. I'm sure it's gonna be around, but it's just another example of what I've been saying. All of these promotions under TKO are evolving into an entirely new world. Now think about the PBR's core audience. You know, I grew up in that audience. Cash is preferred, always has been. It's a new era.
Hey, I'm not surprised, motherfucker.